Welcome. Today, we're diving into an explainer of some seriously electrifying source material. It's basically a massive, uncompromising wake-up call designed to completely redefine what you think you're actually capable of. If you've ever felt like you're just, going through the motions or kind of coasting because you think you've already peaked, well, what we're unpacking today is going to flip that perspective entirely. We're talking about the 98% untapped human potential. That's the monumental gap between what you've done so far and what you are literally built to do. So grab your focus because this is intense, it's direct, and it might just change how you handle your alarm clock tomorrow morning.
Right out of the gate, the source drops this stark assertion. The man who finds too much comfort in resting is basically dead inside. Talk about not pulling any punches, right? It argues that if you're living without a burning dream, if your greatest joy is just sleeping away your days and seeking ultimate comfort, you aren't truly living. It's a harsh mirror to look into, for sure. But the point is, if you're completely at peace with excessive rest, something vital inside of you simply hasn't been awakened yet.
Section 1. The Power of a Dream. Waking Up from a Dead Life. The core problem our source presents isn't just about a lack of energy. It's a catastrophic lack of a driving purpose. To wake up from a dead life, you need a spark. And the text brilliantly paints a picture of what this dead life actually looks like in practice. It argues that people who routinely sleep 10 hours a day are fundamentally lacking drive. They're essentially sleepwalking through existence. And what's really fascinating here is the text points out they lack even the basic selfishness to want to become successful. They don't have a dream to get rich, or build something great, or achieve anything monumental. They haven't even mustered up enough self-interest to want more for themselves. Honestly, if you're sleeping 10 hours a day, the source says you're signaling to the world that you have absolutely nowhere important to be. To really drive this home, consider the contrast between an earner and a leader. An earner is someone who sets an alarm at night, completely full of good intentions, right? But when morning hits, they smash that snooze button. They instantly break a promise they made to themselves just hours prior. On the flip side, you have the leader. A leader is someone who wakes up at 2 a.m. Not because an alarm forced them to, but because their dream is making them utterly restless. They're sitting up in the dark with a notebook, planning their next move. So, the big question is, how can you possibly expect to achieve monumental things if you can't even keep the tiny commitment of waking up to your own alarm? You simply can't be a leader if your first move of the day is surrendering to sleep. Section 2. Your 98% untapped potential. Redefining your capabilities. This brings us to the most crucial paradigm shift of this entire explainer. We're moving into a completely new way of looking at personal achievement. According to the source, no matter how proud you are of what you've done, everything you have achieved, earned, or built so far in your entire life, it represents a mere 2% of your actual capability. Yeah, just 2%. That remaining 98%, it's completely untapped. It's just sitting there waiting for you. Meaning, you haven't even scratched the surface of your true capacity. To really wrap our heads around this, we have to look at how the source powerfully redefines the word potential. Potential is strictly what is left to be done in the future. It is absolutely not what has already been achieved in the past. What you've done is history. It's a closed chapter. Your true capacity, your real potential, lives entirely in that massive 98% of work still waiting for you to execute. Let's ground this with a super specific financial example from the text. Imagine you're earning $3 million a month. Most people would look at that and say, wow, I've reached my potential. But the source completely rejects that mindset. If you earn $3 million a month, your potential isn't that $3 million. Your potential is the $10 million you haven't made yet. Getting satisfied with your current earnings or your current status effectively kills your future potential. If you think your past dictates your limit, you're literally shutting the door on that 98%. Section 3. Time belongs to the nation. You are Bharat. This is where the source material enters the agitation phase, expanding the consequences of laziness way beyond just your own life. We're looking at a much larger scale now. Do the math here. Oversleeping by 5 extra hours isn't just a personal failure. It's positioned as an active theft of your country's time. Think about it. If you were supposed to sleep 7 hours, but you slept 12, those 5 extra hours don't just belong to you. You are actively subtracting 5 hours of productive momentum from the entire nation's progress. And this philosophy is perfectly captured right here. You and the country are not different. You are Bharat. If you sleep, the country sleeps. Now, while the source uses India as the specific reference, this principle hits hard no matter where you're listening from. You are intrinsically linked to the collective progress of your society. If you choose to be stagnant, you force your society to be that much more stagnant. It's a heavy thought. Your individual actions are directly dictating national progress. Section 4. Action over mere knowledge. The illusion of learning. So if we understand the stakes here, how do we actually fix it? Well, first, we have to address a huge trap a lot of us fall into. The source firmly believes there's a massive gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it. Mere knowledge is just hoarding information, reading books, watching videos, nodding along, but never actually acting on it. The source outright calls this completely useless. On the flip side, you have practical application. This is where you actually change your daily habits. Just consuming knowledge changes absolutely nothing. Only lived practical application forces real, tangible transformation. Section 5. The 7-hour rule. Strict guidelines for waking up. This source gives us a very specific, highly practical application that you can start immediately. And I mean tonight. Let's dive into the absolute uncompromising solution it provides to combat complacency. These rules, they are non-negotiable. Number 1, a maximum of 7 hours of sleep at night. Not 8, not 10, 7. Number 2, once those 7 hours are up, you leave the bed immediately. Number 3, never sleep during the day. And 4, if you feel tired, sit on a chair, go outside, just do not lie down. And the text guarantees, with a bit of humor actually, that you will not die or go crazy from sleeping 7 hours or less. According to the text, your brain will function perfectly fine. But notice the incredibly harsh tone the source takes when it comes to naps. The text literally states that sleeping during the day is for donkeys. Yeah, you heard that right. It's an uncompromising stance that views daytime sleeping as the ultimate sign of laziness. It's seen as a complete waste of human potential and something entirely meant for beasts of burden. Definitely not for driven humans. But here is the secret to actually making that strict 7-hour rule work without being miserable. A real dream creates a restlessness inside you. You start craving the morning so you can get back to work. Once you lock your sights onto that 98% untapped potential through a real, tangible dream, you won't need to force yourself out of bed anymore. The 7-hour rule becomes effortless because you actually want to be awake. You literally become excited for the sun to rise. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to consider a stark number, 116,000. According to the text we analyzed, this represents the approximate number of people globally who pass away every single day. So the crucial takeaway here is this. Your name wasn't on the list today. You survived today. But survival is an opportunity that over 100,000 other people didn't get this morning. You are alive, but your time is finite, and it is actively running out while you hit the snooze button. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought. You are given the gift of waking up today. You have an absolute ocean of untapped capacity ahead of you. So what are you going to do with your 98%? It's time to stop sleeping on your own life. Get up, get out of bed, and start working on that massive potential waiting for you. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.